Hello and welcome to another episode of Ashes to Go. I'm your host Redbyrd, and with me is BDLG. And we have our first ever guest, as promised. We have the Golden Feather here, Chibri and Vertec, with us.
Hello. How are you?
So we're it's a pleasure and honor to have you guys again. We're your first ever guest. We had the opportunity to come onto your show, your Twitch show, the Golden Feather. I think what was it now? Maybe a month ish.
Ooh.
It was some time ago. Time's working really funny in my mind here lately. Like sometimes a week will go by and I don't realize it. And sometimes 2 weeks will go by and it'll feel like, a month.
Yeah, the older I get, the worse my ability to track time is, for sure. I feel like, especially this past year, has made it even more difficult because basically your life is on loop, so to say. But guys, tell us a little bit about your show, The Golden Feather, and what kind of content you guys put out.
All right. Well, we are The Golden Feather. We are a podcast that likes to interview other content creators, be it video podcasters, audio makers, be it music or just maybe an audio podcast, as well as artists, and pretty much any type of content that covers Ashes of Creation. We're interested in who you guys are. But we initially met in 2017 when we backed Ashes of Creation. And we are both a part of the Alpha 1 playtesting group. So we've been able to enjoy the interesting experiences. But yeah, aside from that, we live stream every Friday around 7 p.m. Eastern. And, we try to keep it about an hour, but lately it seems to be going like 2 hours. One night, I think it went 3. It was crazy.
Yeah. Sometimes we get a little lost in conversation and we just don't have anything else to do that night, and we just completely forget to look at the time at all.
Yeah.
Yes, you guys put on an awesome show. Again, guys, if you haven't checked out their show already, it is the Golden Feather. That's what your Twitch stream's name is, right? Too, it goes by the Golden Feather. So if you search Golden Feather on Twitch, you should be able to find them. Again,
it's more special, like the _golden_feather. I tried removing the underscores one time and they're like, sorry,
of course
we can't do that.
Yeah. Heaven forbid.
Honestly,
right?
If you look anywhere and you see a black background with literally a golden feather on it, that's us.
Okay,
I haven't seen anybody else actually do that, so there you go.
Perfect.
Well, I took a look real quick, and it was 2 months ago. 2 months.
2 months. Oh my gosh.
Time flies. Time
flies so fast.
And it's been insane. Really, it has. But nonetheless, we are happy to have you guys on. We appreciate it. We got a lot to talk about tonight, so it's good to have some extra opinions and views on this stuff. I think a lot has happened in the past. We do this show bi-weekly, so a lot has happened since our last episode. Maybe you guys have probably already talked about some of these topics, so you'll be thoroughly informed on the stuff we're going to talk about tonight. So first and foremost, we wanted to mention that Jeffrey Bard left the Ashes of Creation team. He is leaving to pursue interest in the VR space. It has been his dream, which I think is cool, to have the opportunity to work on a project like that. So he is going to pursue his dreams. And, I just kind of wanted to talk a little bit about Jeffrey. I know he's been the guy or one of the guys on the live streams. So, it is sad to see him go. But just like, the Ashes project is Steven's dream. It's cool to see Jeffrey get an opportunity, or Jeff. I don't know why I keep saying Jeffrey. I don't think he goes by his full name at this point. But yeah, it's good to see him that he had the opportunity, but it is sad to see him leave.
Yeah, who wants to take this one first?
I was gonna say that's about my mindset as well. Like, it was great seeing him on board, and like just the ideas he would come up with. His eyes would light up just about the same way that Steven's did every single time. But yeah, I think you see his name listed as Jeff in a bunch of places, even his own user profiles in different places. But Steven and Maggie always introduce him as Jeffrey, which is why it just sticks in my mind. It's Jeffrey. But
yeah, I wonder if it's a subtle poke to Jeffrey or Jeff whenever they call him Jeffrey. But yeah, it will be sad. I mean, here's the thing is, I think as the lead game designer, it's a big position to fill. So it'll be exciting and interesting both to see who they go with or what direction they go to in that. Because Ashes of Creation has made a name for themselves at this point as an ambitious project in the MMO space. So hopefully that will draw a lot of attention, and maybe they can get somebody that we're already familiar with as MMO fans.
Yeah, I agree too. No idea who that's going to be, but fingers crossed. They're pretty big shoes to fill.
I was just gonna say exactly that. Some big shoes to fill.
Yeah, Stephen had said that Jeffrey Bard or Jeff had brought a lot of his vision to life while he was with Intrepid. And while I understand that a lot of people are worried and are seeing this as red flags, for me in the software industry, it's very common to jump from company to company, and spending 5-10 years is a major, I guess, achievement to say for just sticking around for that long. So I don't think it's a horrible thing in terms of Ashes. I don't think Ashes is gonna burn or anything like that. I think it's just he left to go chase his dream, and hopefully the next person can help Steven with the next step of achieving his view.
That's a good point. It's interesting because I had, when they said 5 years, it was kind of mind blowing that Ashes of Creation has even been a thing for that long, really. And not only that, but he's been there as the lead developer. So again, it's not like he's leaving for just to get out of there. I really do think he has this passion for VR that he's stated, and he's just pursuing that. And again, kind of sad to see him go, especially with his involvement as a personality on the dev streams. But it is cool. He EverQuest 2, I played a lot of EverQuest 2. I'm sure I unknowingly got to experience some of his content in that game. And then obviously, even when Ashes of Creation launches, I think we'll still have the opportunity to see some of the stuff that Jeff worked on. So
Yeah, I think so. I'm a big fan of Jeff's too, man. And it is hard to see him leave for sure. I think that Ashes is such an ambitious project, though. I do think that they'll pull in some kind of developer that's got a big resume, somebody that, or somebody that's potentially trying to prove themselves. They'll pull in some talent for sure. And I think in terms of the game, I think it might delay things a little bit, because anytime some developer comes in that's trying to follow up somebody else's work in any profession, there's going to be a little bit of a learning curve there, and everybody does things their own way. So they're going to have to get things kind of transitioned over into their method of doing things, I would imagine. I don't know how it works in the developer world because I'm not a developer, but I know from the accounting world, that's exactly how it is. And I would imagine it's kind of similar in just about anything you do, but it does a little bit for me throw up a couple of red flags. I'm not buying into the hype or the crazy drama or anything of that nature, or trying to read into it in any way, but it's like, you're leaving right before the alpha. It is kind of suspicious. I see where people are kind of a little worried and kind of a little thrown off from it. But I know, you guys can't show visually the NDA, but I know you guys have been in the game. So what you've seen so far, we talked a little bit before the podcast, and it seems to be going well, seems to be going smooth. So I don't know that there's any real reason to worry. And right now, I think all we can do is take that statement at face value and say that, well, he does have a passion for VR. That's why he's leaving. And I think we just take it at that and move on. And if something crazy did happen, it'll probably come out later on down the road. And at that point, it's not going to matter anyway. So just hope the best for Ashes and move on. That's all we can do,
I agree. I kind of have the idea that Jeffrey would have not left if he didn't feel like Ashes was in a good state for him to exit.
Yeah, he seemed very passionate about the project for sure. Yeah.
Just saying, there was somebody with a really stacked resume sitting on the sidelines going, I'd like to get involved with that Ashes project, but there's no way they could pay me enough at any of these other positions. And then Jeff put in his resignation or what have you. Stephen put out that announcement, and they said, all right, let's blow the dust off of this resume and submit this thing today.
Well, a lot of people are leaving Blizzard, so maybe they'll pull in a Blizzard dev of some name that we're familiar with, because a lot of people, have jumped ship over there. So who knows? We might have someone fill the shoes that we're familiar with, and I look forward to hearing that announcement. Speaking of filling shoes, we got the May developer update, and we got to see, I believe his name is pronounced Kevin McPherson. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Anybody correct me if I'm wrong?
Yep. Yeah, they always call him Mr. McP.
Mr. McP. I like that. Very easy to pronounce. Yeah, he joined us on the live stream. I enjoyed him. It was cool. Very sarcastic, flat demeanor that I can definitely relate to. And you know, it's good to see, you know, from the development side of things. He was very confident in their work, and I love when you know, when you're having a problem, it's nice to hear someone very confident what the problem is and that he already has the solution. So a lot of the performance issues and everything like that, he had already kind of explained during the live stream what was happening. And overall, I think we're going to talk a little bit about this sooner or later in the podcast. The performance from the footage in the May developer update looked very impressive. So it was good to see him, and obviously, you know, his name and face tied to the live stream, and so, you know, they found someone to fill in temporarily for Jeff, and it seemed to work out pretty well.
I love that guy, man. He cracked me up. I thought it was it was funny. I liked him being on there. It was enjoyable.
Yeah, he had some good semi-dry humor and then very dry humor also. But yeah, kind of like you said, there's a lot to be said about someone who just in a very calm, nonchalant way, like, so that's the thing that's going on with the whatever, and what we're going to be doing is blah blah blah, and the what's it, the who's it, and that's gonna probably get rid of that, but you know, we'll test it out and we'll try this other thing too, so whatever. Like, they already knows, already thought about it 10,000 times, already have an angle of attack, just chilling, totally confident what's happening. It's very reassuring.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if they said if he'll, you know, they're continuing to bring on different people from the team each live, you know, obviously until they probably replace Jeff. But it was good to see him on. Hopefully we'll get to see him again on the live stream. So first and foremost, the first, I think, big announcement was the Intrepid team should be in the new studio by June, mid-June, I believe they specified. And me and Bordy have talked a little bit about this on the podcast before, so it's good to kind of hear your guys' perspective. What do you guys think this means for the production and the team of Intrepid to kind of finally get into a space that they can all work together again and you know, be face to face and make transitions and decisions in person?
Well, speaking from somebody's point of view who has a software background, and my job seems to run a little smoother when we're in the office, I would imagine that it would be a lot easier for them to grab bugs and stuff like that from the testing. And they're all going to be in one space, so somebody can walk over from one space to the next and say, hey, we need to fix this right now. We need to get on this. This is a thing I'm seeing trending upwards for everyone that's involved, such as the rubber banding that initially happened in the playtest. And I think that not only will it raise morale because you can see your coworkers again, but I know a lot of people talked about really, really missing seeing Intrepid just bring on random people like Bacon, and just having, like, I don't know if you guys have followed since the beginning, but at least in like 2017, 2018, they had that seated area where like you could see everybody working behind them. And then I think it was around 2019, they moved to like a room where they were doing all of their streaming. But it was just really cool just to see people working in their environment. They used to do little videos of them on Snapchat all working, like, oh, what are you working on? What are you working on? So I feel like not only will it raise morale, but it'll also increase productivity in terms of quickly moving between this group and that group, from QA to engineering. Hey, there's a spike in this. Okay, cool, we're on it. And I think especially having all of that set up before the July test, it'll make them be able to probably react a lot quicker on the fly, versus right now it seems to be evenings for us, at least, and probably early afternoon for them. But with it being up, I believe 24/7 in July, I think that'll allow them a lot more time to catch things.
Yeah, I agree. The in person thing will be crucial for the alpha testing, especially since they plan on having the server up for a lot. But one thing I'll miss is Steven being able to flex on the different locations in his mansion every live stream. He seems to change his background and, you know, the extravagant furniture and everything he's got in his house, which is dope. What do you think, Vertec? You think this is a first step in a quicker or more thought out development process now that we're gonna get to see the team finally back in the studio?
I'm going to go on a great length and say I agree with Chippy.
All right, well, great. That's great.
No, yeah, for the most part, yeah, I think it's going to be a good thing. It's nice to see the production increase that people just do get when they are allowed to just work in their own little bubble and get things done, and they can, you know, go off and have a lunch or dinner or whatever, and then later on in the evening go, oh, there's that thing I wanted to work on, and pop back onto their computer and do something real quick, and cool, I got something else done for the day. But at the same time, nothing really beats in a collaborative environment like that, being able to lean over a little wall, like cubicle wall, and be like, hey, so here's the thing we're working on, right? Come over here real quick and look at this. And just it's done there. You just fixed like 20 minutes worth of back and forth and trying to send things. And did you get that? No? Okay, well, here, let me screen share. Okay.
Yeah, emails and team or Discord or Zoom meetings or whatever they use. Yeah, that can be very tedious, especially like you said, it's requiring ongoing communication through a process. So, yeah, I look forward to seeing the new office, the new studio, and obviously the team back in there. And I do think it's going to be a big thing for the development process for sure. So we obviously, with every every update or developer update, we get to see some footage from the game, and this was pretty cool to see. You know, first we'll talk about the Frost Dragon fight. We'd seen this fight before, obviously, but it was kind of cool to see them go back through it again and you know, see the mechanics of the Frost Dragon. But I think the more important part of the footage was the siege footage. Now, this is something I think MMOs have been trying to do for the past 10 years, is get, like, you know, more than like 20 people in an area at one time casting their spells, and the server not, like, you know, going down to like 5 frames per second. But, you know, overall, I thought the siege footage was really, you know, really cool to watch, just simply because the performance was at a pretty decent level for an alpha.
Yeah, I would agree, man. What blew me away the most, I think, is the scale of the castle and the, like, every time I see stuff in Ashes of Creation, I see how big things are and just the scale of things, and then like the ballistas and the catapults they were down there fighting, and then just the design and layout of the game. It was awesome to me, man. I loved it. I enjoyed watching it very much, and it seemed to run smooth. It was very encouraging. It was a fun thing to watch.
Did you notice in the video how they were using like every square inch of the castle? It wasn't like there's just this big thing and lots of walls, and then there's dead space, and then you fight in this other thing up here. Like when Steven was running around and flying around, there was like the throne room way up above, and then it let out like to the sides and the front to another area, and then there was like an under the castle that crawled forward and backward underneath there, and they're using all the space in the castle. It was really cool.
Yeah,
that which is important too. Whenever you have such a big space like that, it's like oftentimes you see games will have this big space, and then you're right, there'll be some unused part of it or something. And it's really cool. It's like very strategically laid out. I loved it, man. I thought it was really, really neat.
I thought it was cool at the very end when they were starting to bust down the siege wall in the throne room. I thought that was gonna be an epic moment for a defending team, and knowing that the enemy's out there busting down the final door to take over the throne. I really hope that they can nail the large scale PvP, because I feel comfortable saying it's never really been done that well. You know what I mean? I think there's always been some performance issues that kind of takes the fun out of the large scale PvP scene in most games. So hopefully they'll get it done. Chibi Bree, did you have I know you guys, well, no, you guys can say, have you guys had an opportunity to test the siege mechanics yet in the alpha?
So I tested the Castle Siege way back when they were just testing Castle Siege. But Vertec got a chance to kind of test the most recent Castle Siege. So a lot of what you guys saw is pretty much what I saw, but like way better.
Yeah, she was able to test it like a year and a half ago or something silly like that. Like back when they were first talking about making it go live after Apocalypse. It was going to be Apocalypse and then Castle Siege, and then they're gonna be doing some other stuff before Alpha 1. But then they decided, you know what? After the one day of testing Castle Siege that I missed, and I was just nonchalant, like, I'll catch it like next week when they open it up again, and we can test that. That's cool. No, that's the week they decided, you know what? Everybody wants to see Alpha 1 more than they want to see Castle Siege, so let's put that on the back burner.
I think that was a good move for them, for sure.
Yeah, it was. I mean, at the time, I was like, man, I should have totally made the time, because I could have like shifted my schedule, but I didn't find it like it wasn't pressing enough. I was like, I can help test next week or something. It's just the first day they're opening it up, so there'll be plenty of other days where they need stuff tested.
Vertex just hiding the fact that he was one of the guys in the live stream beating down Steven and his 40,000 hit points.
Actually, believe it or not, like I got in there for the there was a big testing sprint of like a handful of hours before that, but unfortunately they wanted to tone it down to a very small number of people, like 50 on 50, because originally when we were actually testing it, it was like a 150 versus 150. It was a lot of people there. But it's really hard to wrangle cats, especially when there's so many of them running around wanting to test everything and push all the buttons. So they wanted to narrow it down to a smaller group of people who'd be able to just kind of be organized in the chaos. And so they ended up choosing out 50 people on each side from guilds that had enough people online at that time to actually, kind of fill those ranks, so to say.
Well, it looked epic for sure. Sorry,
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, it's okay. I was going to say, plus from what I got to see of him testing the alpha, it was a frozen screen for a little while there.
Yeah, for me specifically, it was kind of torture because we went to run in, like it was working fine, but you see, I have an old and kind of meh graphics card, and see, I didn't change any graphics settings from the maximum. So when we all jumped in 300 people to one small confined area and everyone was running around and grabbing siege weapons and blowing stuff up, my graphics card decided it wanted to just fall over and play dead. So I'm listening in Discord to everyone talking about these strategies they're pulling off. Let's go over here. Let's go over there. Let's get this. Let's get that. And my screen's sitting there just, nope. Not doing anything. Fantastic. Yeah. Sounds like they're having a blast, though.
There's nothing worse than computer issues, especially when you're gaming and there's something exciting going on, and then all of a sudden you're getting forced closed, or like you said, your graphics card decides not to work.
Yeah.
In the end, I got back to it and I was able to run through some of it, and my computer stopped acting up. But it just acted up at the very, very beginning, which was the fun part, because I heard them taking down the fire dragon. I heard them fighting the fire dragon and taking him down.
So
the fire dragon started doing crazy stuff to help out. It was bananas.
So I love the idea. I love the way they set up this stream, because they were going off to try to get the buff from the frost dragon before the siege happened, and the other team, that threat of them sneaking in when they're out trying to down the raid boss when he's like up. I love that open world feel that games like Ashes of Creation can bring to the table, that you're always at risk. No matter what you're doing, there's always some sort of threat lurking with the other team, kind of being able to seize your tower when you're out fighting a raid boss or something. So I like that they set that the live stream up in that scenario, because it is definitely something that I think brings out the best in those open world games, is having the conflict of trying to get things done and progress in a PvE setting, but then still have that PvP threat looming.
Yeah. And then the thing that I don't think I've heard anybody else really talking about, then again, I haven't listened to, obviously, because I'm only one person, I haven't listened to every podcast out there. But when they beat the fire dragon, the red one that you saw them fight before in a previous video on the live stream, they beat that one, and it started sending out like flaming dragon clones to go help attack the castle.
Really?
That was the buff that they got from defeating that red dragon.
That's insane.
It was
That's
just
pretty
giant
dope, yeah.
red flaming clones of the dragon walking in, and I just heard Steven going, "Don't mind the dragons, run past them. They're our friends. Charge!"
And I thought that was part of the attack where like the dragon called mirror images of itself to attack you. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, so that's crazy that those sort of things can happen, almost like a MOBA style. You go kill a boss and get some sort of buff or help with a mob or monster coming to your aid if you kill it in a certain time frame. I like that mechanic, but we'll see how it plays out, because I think the alpha is meant to be, everything's kind of close together, right? Because it's only a fourth of the map, so it'll be interesting to see the different world bosses and everything they have in at launch with all the different nodes and stuff.
Yeah, I'll put the disclaimer out there that I was a little bit distracted putting in bug reports and everything, so maybe it's possible that they just attacked the dragon and ran away, and the dragon was attacking alongside them with the little fire clones. But
see, Vertec is a good alpha tester. He's actually putting in bug reports.
Yeah.
He's not spamming general chat with this game's performance is bad or whatever alpha testers do.
I took Steven at his word that those dragons were our friends and it's here to help us, and that meant that they actually defeated the dragon when they were trying to fight it. But we did hear Steven likes to troll people about dangerous situations, so...
Yeah, for all we know, why he buffed his hit points to 40,000, he maybe also spawned in some fire dragons to help out the siege.
It's quite possible.
He's not going down.
Oh
he's not going down on another live stream again.
I just imagine Steven being like, "Oh, don't mind the dragons. Don't mind the. Quick, get in the bunker. Quick, get in the bunker."
See, are you guys Game of Thrones fans, or did you watch the Game of Thrones?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I just imagine like eventually when this game comes out, dude, it's just. It's fun for me to think like they have the some of the flying mounts. It's gonna be cool to see like a mayor or a general of a big army fly in on one of those dragon flying mounts and start attacking the back lines or whatever, and watching these epic battles. I really hope that they can pull these off at a large scale, because I think some of those moments you never forget in MMOs. Those big sieges or attacks on other people's territory. I think there's a lot of special moments that are still to be lived out in the MMO genre, because everybody has kind of failed in the performance department. So
oh yeah and since you mentioned Game of Thrones, I see it playing out exactly like those scenes with the dragons flying in and like torching the ground, because Steven said that even the flying mounts are going to have special battlefield abilities, so
no, it's gonna be.
That could be epic, man. Yeah,
it's gonna be fun, man. I can't wait to see more. And obviously, the alpha is gonna be obviously dropping the visual NDA as well. So it'll be cool to see people streaming it on Twitch and seeing all the things as they kind of progress towards that. I know that they've kind of pushed back everything a little bit, but it'll be very interesting when there's people that actually get to play it on a regular basis every day on Twitch. It'll be cool to see. The progress they're making on a day-to-day basis for sure. So one of the things that we'll sum up real quick that was in the May developer update was the split body animation versus full body animation. This is kind of a confusing concept. I had to like watch it a couple times before I realized what Steven was talking about. But I guess what they're insinuating is that prior to, or I guess during the Apocalypse Battle Royale, they had the animation split to where, you could technically change your cone of vision or your attack cone while you're performing an ability, able to strafe or turn. And so I guess, and this is to my understanding, you guys can probably correct me if I'm wrong, because you guys are actually in the testing too. So in the most recent test, they've had it to where you're basically your animation lock. So once you start moving or doing an ability, you will be pushed forward in whatever direction you're using the ability. And so they're looking at the contrast between those two things, the Apocalypse combat and the current combat in the MMO. So I think it's an interesting topic, one to think about, especially as a it's kind of introduced as a question to the community. What is your guys' preference on the combat as far as, having more of a, animation lock once you start the ability, or having the ability to I guess, further progress on the action side of combat and allowing you to kind of move your cone of vision, whether you're attacking or not?
You first.
Oh, I don't really know, honestly. I haven't really paid too much attention to that. I think that's a change that happened in the last test that Vertec was a part of, not me.
Yeah, I was waiting for you to say something along the lines of, I heal, I don't really attack stuff. I don't get things. But
I mean, that's not true in Ashes. You have to attack to heal.
that's fair enough. That's fair enough. But I don't know. I know the direction that they were going with. I mean, Steven even said they were trying to add weight to everything, so they would lock you in the animation and make you like move forward while you're attacking and all. But I think it should be more freeform, really, especially in an action game, like an action combat game. You need to be able to move when you want and how you want. And I think it's a good move separating the feet from the upper body, but I also think that it shouldn't be restrictive as far as locking you into moving in any direction, no matter what. Because I think Steven said, what, if you start attacking first, then you're locked into moving forward.
Right.
But if you're already moving, then you can keep moving while you attack. But it should lock you into doing the attacks. Sure, I can see that, but you should be able to move yourself around every which way. Like, maybe make it more difficult too, but it shouldn't lock you in. Like, as soon as you start swinging, you have to keep facing this direction for the full entire swing or two.
Yeah, and it makes it difficult, especially if your target is mobile. Then it makes it even more difficult to be on the offense, I think, especially in like a PvP setting.
Yeah, that's where I was going to pipe in. Yeah, exactly, especially in PvP.
Yeah, and I know at one point it was kind of getting to me, to the point where I was getting a little frustrated by it, but the animation lock was a little too extreme. I think it may have been because of the weapon I was using. I think I was trying a halberd or something at the time. But when you attacked, it would actually move you forward no matter what. Even if your face was right up against an enemy, you would kind of push around the enemy. So you'd have to keep making sure you're faced exactly perfectly on whatever you're attacking, or else you'd swipe and go right past it after like an attack. But it would push you forward as you're swinging the weapon, and it was a little excessive.
Yeah, it would make it hard, especially to stay in front of your target. Like you're saying, if you have to turn around or do a 180 every time you attack just because you push through your target, then that could be a bit troublesome, especially for the fluidity of combat.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
Bordy, you have anything to say about the combat? I know you hate the animations. We've already determined that. I'm posting.
I don't hate the animations, man. I hate the animations. I don't know, man. I'm a big action combat guy, so all the restrictive movements and all that, I'm not a big fan of. I'm not a big fan of tab targeting. I personally really enjoyed the Apocalypse combat. It was very action oriented, playing that, and so I was hoping that was the direction that the combat was going to be in the MMO. I really thought that's where we were headed, and I don't know if that's going to be the case. It seems like they're still testing a bunch of stuff, but I'm not really too pro like locking you into place for these animations, man. I like free flowing, more action oriented combat. So I hope that's the direction they go. I still don't fully understand the split body, full body animation stuff. I'm not real sure I follow exactly how that's supposed to work, but I do like more action oriented than kind of locked into place, pushing you forward and all that stuff. I like to be able to move during combat and have some free flowing action combat, man. That's more my preference for sure.
Yeah. And I, here's the thing. In the end, I trust the Ashes team to kind of collect data throughout the alpha and moving into alpha 2 and all the following tests and gather information to kind of get titrate combat to a place that we're all happy with. Because I think, one of the things about being as transparent as they are with the testing and with all the changes that they're making in the game, they're going to have a lot of feedback to kind of, move combat forward in the right direction. So I have faith that over time, as the alpha continues and they get more and more data, they'll continue to perfect combat in game.
Well, and it's such a big topic, right? Like, I mean, anytime you're talking about combat, you got to nail it. You got to nail the combat, especially for an MMO the scale of Ashes of Creation. If they don't nail the combat, it's not going to be good for the game. So I think they know that, and I think they'll get it right, man.
Yeah. Also, I've been kind of the mind since the whole Alpha 1 started that you can give feedback even if you aren't physically a part of the Alpha 1 testing. From what you're seeing, if it looks clunky, or if it looks slow, or if it doesn't look as solid or fluid as you should, or you think it should, definitely give that feedback, because somebody like me who's not PvP player, I'm not going to really care or notice that much. I'm going to notice, am I hitting this or not? Do I have to keep hitting Q in order to attack, or can I just hold it once? Things like that are more towards my play style of how I play versus how the character swings things, Mm-hmm. So between that and community feedback in general, I feel like Intrepid is really trying to listen and really trying to figure out how to make this as best of a combat system as I can. For example, one person said, just by watching the video, I think it was Kira Cosmo had said that she felt like the animation when you get knocked down made it feel like you were knocked down forever, because you just kept getting knocked down and you couldn't get up or get away from it. So something like that, even from a outsider's point of view, is something that she was able to pick up on. And it's still feedback that I think Intrepid needs.
Well, Steven laid on his back for the better part of the the combat. So the stun locking might be out of control right now. Yeah, for sure.
Stun lock OP
needs a little bit of diminishing returns in there somewhere.
Yeah, I am waiting for I know, like, the community is basically bullying Steven into rolling a tank, because every live stream so far he's been like just crushed by tanks. So eventually I could see Steven saying I can't beat him, join him, and he's gonna roll a tank so he can do the CCing for sure.
Yeah. If you can't beat him, join him. Exactly.
That's right. Well, guys, it's been a good episode. I'm so happy to have had you guys on. It's good to return the favor. We had a lot of fun on your guys' podcast. And again, it was great having you guys as our first ever guest. It took us 26 episodes to finally have guests on. And it was a pleasure having you guys as our first guest. So why don't, before we head out of here, why don't you plug anything you want? Tell people where they can find you on all the social media platforms, and of course your Twitch and everything like that. One more time.
All right. So in some way, shape, or form, you'll find us everywhere as the Golden Feather. Unfortunately, all the platforms are a little different in how they like their usernames. So on Twitch, it's _golden_feather. On Twitter, it's the Golden Feather minus an E at the end. So it's feather. No E.
Okay.
But those are probably the two most active places we're at. We are also on YouTube. We are those of us who know us will know that we've been playing catch up. We are almost caught up. We have a handful more episodes to get uploaded, and that's it. We are also the Golden Feather there. If you just type in Ashes of Creation, the Golden Feather, you'll find us for sure. Either way, we appreciate you having us on. We loved having you on our show, and we are so honored you have us on yours for your first ever guest appearance.
Yes, and
yeah, I agree.
We will have everything of your guys's down below in the comment section on YouTube for sure, as well as on the podcast description. So you should definitely go check these guys out. They've been part of the Ashes of Community, Ashes of Creation community for a long time, and they put on a great Twitch show. So if you are a Twitch watcher, you should definitely check them out. You guys put up episodes Fridays, right? Friday.
We go live on Fridays. The plan is, after we're caught up, putting our episode up on Monday. So have the weekend to edit and get it prepared and then put it up on Monday. But right now we're live on Twitch on Fridays at 7 p.m. Eastern time. And then Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays, we try to get a video up so that we can get caught up.
Awesome. Yeah, YouTube is a grind for sure, but it's definitely worth it. And we're looking forward to see more YouTube content from you guys as well. Well, guys, thank you
very
so much again for joining us. We really appreciate it. Thank you to
Yes.
all our listeners and to all our patrons. And we will see you on another episode of Ashes to Go.
Later on.
See you then.